I am going to talk about the state of emergency that was declared in Miami amidst of the spring break party. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the clip, and you will hear the mayor of Miami speak about it, and I'm going to break down the numbers and what's going on, and I'm going to tell you what they're going to do.
This was the scene on 8th Street and Ocean Drive, an hour after curfew. The large crowd singing and dancing, but things quickly changed. Police eventually shot pepper balls into the crowd to speed up the disbursement, sending people running.
This area has become a tinder, and we cannot have a policy of simply hoping that it's not lit. We have to act before one of those incidents happen. We cannot act in the wake of something. And that is why, preemptively, we are taking action today.
That action implementing an 8 p.m. curfew for Ocean Drive, Collins Avenue, Washington Avenue, and Espanola Way from 5th through 16th Streets.
That is crazy. That is dumb. I hate it.
I understand that some people came here and did some outlandish things, but they do that everywhere. I'm from Detroit. They come to our city and act up, but our mayor don't make it a curfew because of that.
But there are some tourists in support.
The 8 p.m. curfew, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, you know what I mean? We've had curfew before, we still found ways to be with each other.
As a result, all businesses had to shut down and the streets had to be cleared of all people. In addition to the curfew, eastbound traffic on all 3 causeways to the beach were also closed to non-residents. Changes Mayor Dan Gilbert said was necessary to maintain residents and visitor safety.
If we had 500 or 1,000 guests and a very small percent we're acting out in ways that were improper or illegal, I am quite confident we could easily control that. But when you have 50,000 or 100,000, even if it's just a small percent of those visitors acting out, well then that becomes a challenge of an entirely different order.
So there you have it. The mayor of Miami sent out a curfew to deal with the crowd of the spring breakers in Miami-Dade County. Now I want to go over some numbers here. And some of these numbers is unbelievable, but here we go. Spring breakers flocked in droves to South Florida that led to over 100 arrests. They said right around over 119 or 115. March 12th, dozens of people arrested for fighting and dancing on police cars. 2 officers were injured when the crowd started throwing objects at them. The officers are expected to have full recovery. March 14th, more than 30 arrests. Authorities seized 13 guns and 900 citations. 1 was killed. 69 federal charges. And over $5,000 of non-paying checks. And the cases of COVID has increased, which was reported for the Miami-Dade County as well. As you heard the video of the mayor putting lockdowns, of course you're going to have black leaders that's going to say that's a little too much force. But I'm going to put a little different spin on it, like I usually do. They are going to shut it down. This will be the last time you will see spring break in Miami again. They're going to shut it down. They are going to turn that town into a beer and wine joint. That's what they're going to do. It's going to be a beer and wine winery with some very expensive lavagents of dinery and shopping. Spring break as you know it is going to be no more. They're going to do everything in their power to keep out out-of-towners from coming to these areas. And they are going to financially keep out local troublemakers out of this area. Caucasian folks make up 37% of Miami. And the elites are going to speak their minds. The rich white folks who live there, who pay hellified taxes, they are going to make sure that they get what they want. They do not want spring break there anymore. A lot of businesses have shut down just because they knew spring breakers were coming. And you are going to start to see more and more of these things happening. We are in the midst of a pandemic. I do not understand why they thought this was a good idea. See, last year they shut it down. You could not go to the beach at all last year during spring break. No one could go to the beach. You can literally see how clean it was. Nice. You could literally see the ocean was crystal clear blue. There was no spring breakers at those beaches last year. This year, I don't know what they were thinking. And I know that a lot of businesses made a lot of money, whether it was restaurants, bars, clubs, whatever, street vendors. But there was a lot of money, there was thousands and thousands of dollars lost in unpaid checks where people were just walking out without paying their tabs. And Miami is going to change. Over 115 arrests. People dancing on police cars. 2 officers injured. 13 guns seized. Over 900 citation tickets. 1 killed. 69 federal arrests. People walking out on tabs. Endless of fights. And the spike of the COVID-19 in that area, you have seen the last of spring break in Miami. They are going to do things differently. Now, I'm not against anybody having a good time, but the problem is you confusing the public and you're confusing this society. We're in the midst of a pandemic. What made you think that these folks were going to follow any rules? Social distancing, putting a mask on. You really think that was going to happen? People in this society don't give a damn. And this is where they are. And now you are going to have people that's going to be like, you know what? I'm tired of the talk. We don't want spring break in our town anymore. And then they're going to speak it. They're going to do it. Keep in mind, I think it was over 15 years ago, They shut down Freaknik in Atlanta. They shut all that down. So look for this situation to happen as well. I am not against someone having a good time, but we are in a pandemic. So what do you expect? What do you expect? And I'm just saying, my personal opinion, I think we've seen the last of spring break in Miami. That's just my opinion on it. The writing is right there on the wall. This is what they are tired of. They sick and tired of seeing a bunch of fuckery, and they tired of seeing nigga nonsense. See, white folks ain't gonna say it, but I will. They're tired of seeing it. And especially those who are paying those high-ass taxes in this city, and those who are having their own businesses, and those who live there and conduct themselves in a manner in which they love their city. And then you have outsiders, including local hoodlums, going in there having a fight off. So look for spring break to be no more. I do feel they want to go back to the days of last year where everything was shut down and was crystal clear quiet. But I think they're going to do it in a different way. They are going to shut spring break in Miami down. And you know why? Because you know how we do.